Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome all of you to our Bhagavad Gita class. Today we'll continue with chapter 9. The objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. We are on the chapter 9, which is the most confidential knowledge. So as we all know that in Gita, there are 18 chapters, and this 18 chapters have been divided into 3 parts. The first 6 chapter deals with Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. And the next 6 chapter, that is from 7th to 12th, is Bhakti Yoga, and from 13th to 18th is Jnana Yoga. Basically, 18th is a conclusion of Gita, and this it has got 700 shlok, right? Now, the first 6 chapter is compared to the lower part of a jewel box. When you think of a jewel box, the lower part of a jewel box is equated to the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and from 13th to 18th, it's the lid of the jewel box, and the jewel inside the jewel box is actually the chapter from chapter 7 to chapter 12, that is Bhakti Yoga. And this is the most confidential part, and that is why it is protected between 2 other parts of Bhagavad Gita. Now, why is this most confidential part of Bhagavad Gita? Because this is the part where Krishna reveals himself. Krishna is talking about himself. Now, no one will go and talk about themselves to anyone, right? Now, here, Krishna is going to tell about himself, and as we have seen in the first 3 shlok, that this could only be understood by someone who is non-envious and has got faith in Krishna. So these are the 2 important characteristics for understanding this part of Bhagavad Gita, which is you should be non-envious of Krishna, and you should have complete faith in Krishna. As we talked about when we look about see a all-rounder in a college or a school, what happens? There's a group of people who are for the person, but there's another group of people who challenges the person or envious of that person. Now, if the person who is great, if he starts talking about himself to the people who envy him, they will say, oh, what you're saying. But the people who understands him, admires him, he can actually tell about himself, because they are the people who will understand him, who will relish him. And that is why this part is for devotees of Krishna, who actually understands Krishna, right? So they are not envious of Krishna, and they have full faith in Krishna. Again, faith is very important. Faith, as we talked about in the last story about the cobbler and the Brahmin, the story that we talked about, the cobbler believed that Krishna must be taking out elephant from the needle hole. Elephant from the needle hole. That is a faith, because he knows that if Krishna can put, in a seed, a big tree, then he can do anything. But a Brahmin who was actually an expert in the Vedic knowledge, he could not have faith that yes, Krishna could do that, because when you apply your logic, when you apply apply your defective senses to understand Krishna, it is impossible to understand him, because he is beyond our understanding. Yeah, it is the first thing. To understand Krishna, you have to have complete faith in Krishna. And then when you understand, listen, then only you can realize Krishna. And when you realize Krishna, you have to surrender to him. As we have seen in the 2nd chapter, when we started about the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said he did not speak anything in the 1st chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It was only Arjun who was speaking, except for few words. And in the 2nd chapter, only in the 7th shlok, when Arjun completely surrendered himself to Krishna, then only he started speaking. So to understand Krishna and to understand this confidential knowledge, you have to completely be surrendered, not with a challenging mindset, not with the defective senses that we have, but with a complete faith and a non-envious mood, right? So this is the most confidential knowledge, where Krishna is letting us know his glories. Yeah. So that's what this chapter has got 4 sections. We have already completed the first 2 sections. Today we'll start the third section, which is different type of worshippers of Lord Krishna. And before we go, we'll quickly summarize what we have learned in the last class. So as I just mentioned, that the first 3 shlok of Krishna, of chapter 9, is Krishna talks about the knowledge that he's going to reveal. And he says that to understand this knowledge, the person has to be non-envious and has to have complete faith. And only then they can understand the knowledge spoken up from 4th shlok onwards. And then he said, if the person is in this mood, then, and if they listens and absorb this knowledge, then they will be able to liberate themselves from the cycle of birth and death. Yeah, so that is what was told in the first 3 shlok. And the second shlok, Krishna explained the greatness. It talks about the qualities of the knowledge that he is going to talk about. He said, Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshagamam Dharmam Susukham Kartum Avyam. He said, this knowledge is the king of knowledge. Why this knowledge is the king of knowledge? Because any knowledge that we know or have heard of is for our material body. This knowledge is the one which has the power to, it is a power not only to purify, this is a power to break the cycle of birth and death. It definitely purifies us, but by purifying only we proceed. But then this is king of knowledge, because this is the only knowledge which helps us to break the cycle of birth and death. Then he says, this is Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam. He said it is the most secret knowledge. Why it is the most secret knowledge? In general, we all live and talk from a bodily concept. Now, this is the most secret knowledge because it talks about the soul. It actually helps us to understand about soul. And not only it helps us to understand about soul, but it also helps us to tell us the activity of soul, what should be done so that the soul can actually gets liberated and that is what is the knowledge, right? And as Bhagavatam says, what is the highest dharma of a soul? It is bhakti adhokshaja. To the highest dharma of the soul is to do bhakti for adhokshaja. And what is adhokshaja? It is Krishna, right? Then it is Raja Vidya Rajagohyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Uttamam is the highest, is the best, and Pavitram. And why it is Pavitram? Because even the most fallen person, when that person listens to this knowledge and absorbs this knowledge has the power to purify and help the person to break the bond of birth and death. That is why it is Uttamam and Pavitram, because it can purify even the most fallen soul, right? So Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshagamam Dharmyam. It is Pratyaksha means when you do it, you can have a direct perception of it. You can have a self-realization about it. And it is Dharmyam. It is dharma, again, the dharma of a body and the dharma of a soul. It explained about the Karma Yoga and the Bhakti Yoga. So it talks about that. And then it says Dharmam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Susukham means it is when you do it, Kartum Avyayam. When you do this work, what it gives you highest happiness. Susukham. It is not only sukh. It does not even just give happiness. It gives you susukham. It gives you highest sukham and kartum avyayam. And it is an eternal knowledge. The knowledge, when you gain this knowledge, it doesn't die with this body. Because this knowledge is for your soul. So this knowledge is the knowledge which is taken beyond this body. Yeah, it is eternal knowledge that you get, right? That's what we read in the second shlok. And then third, we talk about the faith. And then from 4th to 6th, what we did, we talked about then Krishna explained that Krishna, he pervades in everything. The entire material world that is there, it is all his energies. But although everything is his energy, but he is not in that. He is beyond that. Although everything is controlled and owned by Krishna, but he is not, he's beyond that. He's above that. That's what he explained us. And then from 7th to 9th shlok, we learned that the material world is created and destroyed periodically by Krishna and energies and his will. But all this work cannot bind him. He is only creating, he is only destroying, but nothing can actually bind him. And in the 10th shlok, he said he is the supreme, Krishna is the supreme director. So the 10th shlok, we will repeat this 10th shlok. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi Suyate sacharacharam Hetunanena kaunteya Jagat viparivartate Mayadhyakshena prakritihi Suyate sacharacharam Hetunanena kaunteya Jagat viparivartate. Mataji. Prakriti Suyate sacharacharam Hetunanena kaunteya Jagat viparivartate. So Krishna here says Maya adhyakshena prakriti. This material nature, this material world is under my supervision, under my control. And then we learned what is this material world. We talked about this material world is actually who is the goddess for this, which is Durga Devi, right? So she is Mahamaya. She actually controls this material nature, and under whose control? Maya adhyakshena prakriti. So the prakriti is under the control of Krishna. She is actually under the supervision of Krishna. Suyate sacharachara. And what happens in under his supervision? Suyate means producing. What happens? Char and achar. Char means moving and non-moving. All moving and non-moving things are produced under his supervision, right? Hetu nanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. And they are under its rule. It gets created and annihilated again and again. We have read about that, right? So let us read the English translation. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So it's this manifestation is nothing but the Brahmand. Entire universe is created and annihilated again and again under his supervision. Now we'll go to the next section. There's the third section of chapter 9, which talks about different type of worshippers of Lord Krishna. What are the different type of worshippers of Lord Krishna? Let's go to the shlok number 11. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhutam maheshwaram avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mamam bhutam maheshwaram. Bhavi.
Avajananti mamudha
manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhutam maheshwaram. So Krishna says avajananti mamudha. So mudha is fools. Mudha is fools. What happens? What does the fools do? Avajananti, they deride me. Now, what is the meaning of avajananti? Jananti means you know. Jananti means you know. Ajananti means you don't know. Avajananti means you understand exactly opposite. Yeah. So he says, avajananti mam is to me, mudha, the fools, manushim tanum ashritam. Tanu is the body. Yeah. When I take human form, Ashrita is to take shelter of human form. So when I take human forms, the fools deride me. They think that I am human. Many people challenge, oh, Krishna, he's a human. Who says he's a god? Right? So when he takes human form, the fools thinks that it is the fool who thinks that he is human. Why they think like that? Param bhavam ajananto. Because they don't know my param bhav, my transcendental nature. They don't know my transcendental nature. Mama bhuta maheshwaram, that I am the supreme lord of the entire world. Why? Because they don't know that I am the Supreme Lord. Param Bhavam Ajananto. They don't know my Param Bhav. What is this Param Bhav? Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. I am the Supreme Lord of all. So what happened? Because they don't know, they think, oh, how can Krishna be the Supreme Lord? Because he steals butter. Yeah. So but then they don't remember that when he opened the mouth, actually, Yashodama saw the entire universe. Right? They say questions. How can your God, he get tied by Yashodama? Right? But they don't know that tying by Yashodama, how Krishna, to the relation between Krishna and devotees. They don't know. And why and how can you control, who can control Krishna? From whom he gets surrendered to, right? So they don't know about the Bhakta part because they don't have knowledge. So they are fools. And they are the fools. And what do they think? That Krishna is, when he comes in human form, they deride him. They think that he is a human. But then that's what he says. So let's read the English translation by Srila Prabhupada. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Yeah. So we have already talked about in Brahma Samhita, which is the poem by Brahma, who sings for Krishna. He says, Ishvara Paramah Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karan Karana. Right? Ishvara Paramah Krishna. So Brahmaji prays that who is the Param Ishwar? It is Krishna. Ishvara Paramam Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha. And his body, his Vigraha, his body is Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat means it is eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. And Anand means full of bliss. That is, he is Satchidanand Vigraha. He is Anadir Adir Govinda. He doesn't have a beginning or an end. Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karan Karan. He is the cause of all causes, right? Then we have already talked about the Krishna's, the Purusha Avatara, where we talked about the Mahavishnu, we talked about the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and we talked about the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, right? Then, okay, so now we move to so how such people, who are those people? Come something like people like Shishupal, Kans, whereas Pandavas, they could understand Krishna, but people like Shishupal, Kans, Duryodhan, they were challenging Krishna as one in the human form. And what happened when finally during the Kurukshetra war, when Krishna wanted to, he wanted to avoid the war, and finally to as a peace messenger, when he was sent as a peace messenger to, last time he wanted to try to avoid Kurukshetra war, so he went to the Hastinapur, and there what Duryodhan did? Duryodhan wanted to capture Krishna. He wanted to, so that is how he thinks that Krishna is human. And then he showed his Vishwaroop. He showed his Vishwaroop there, right? So fools deride him when he comes in the human form, right? So we go to the next shlok. One more shlok I want to talk about that we have already read in the seventh chapter. We talked about Devi Hesha Gurumai Mama Maya Duratmaya Mameva Ye Papadyante Maya Metadantitim. So he said in the 7th chapter, the 14th shlok, he says that this divine energy of mind, even the material energy, as I said, is actually is my like it is very, very difficult to cross this material ocean, but then material world. But then those who surrender unto me, for them it becomes, I help them to cross them easily. Yeah, he says that in the 7th chapter. Now, what happens to the people who derides them? So now in the next shlok, which is the 12th shlok, he explains the condition of those people. Let's read the shlok. Moghasha Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichetasah Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shitaha Moghasha Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichetasah Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shitaha. So what happens? So Mataji, why don't you read? Moghasha Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichetasah Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shrita. So Krishna now explains the fate of such fools who thinks him as a human. Now Moghasha. So they get Moghasha means now it is not only the as we have talked about, there are different people. Some could be devotees, some are karmis, some are jnani, some. So even those who are devotees but who internally pray to Krishna but don't believe him that he is the supreme Lord. So what happens? Why they are? What are they doing? We are surrendering to basically finally to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. But they will continue to remain in this. They cannot, because you don't have this complete faith, and you so those moghas, they get remain baffled. They remain baffled and keep on circulating in this cycle of birth and death. Mogha karmano. Karmano here the karmis. The karmis, what do the karmi want? They want to do a lot of fruitive action to finally achieve swarga, to achieve swarga, or to get. So that is the final object, final destination they want to go. So they do pious. But what happens again? Because they don't know, they'll again continue to in the cycle of birth and death. Mogha jnana. Even the jnanis, they will also, if those who don't know, they just they are praying but they don't know Krishna as a supreme Lord, what will happen? They'll again continue to be in the cycle of birth and vichetas, and they'll remain baffled. Vichetas means baffled. And then also what will happen? Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva. They will also have they'll be attracted towards the Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva. Their attraction will be towards the demoniac and the atheistic views. They will get attracted towards the demonic views. Prakritim Mohinim Shita. That is how it will happen, right? So let us read the translation. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by the demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Right? So now let's go to the next shlok. Shlok number 13. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritimashritah bhajantya ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashritah bhajantya ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashritah bhajantya ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Yeah. So what now in this shlok Krishna says about Mahatma. Who are Mahatmas? He gives a definition of Mahatma. The great souls. Who are the great souls? Mahatmasu mam partha. O Partha, who are the great souls? Devim prakritim ashrita. Who takes ashrit in the divine energy. He takes in the they takes what ashrit and divine energy, they understand. So who is the divine energy here? It's the Yoga Maya. So Mahamaya is the one who is looking at the material world, and Yoga Maya is the one which is in the spiritual world, right? So he takes shelter of the Yoga Maya. Bhajantya ananya manaso. And what do they do? Mahatma, what do they do? Bhajantya ananya manaso. They do bhajantya. They basically do my they actually do devotional service. They do prayers. They do devotional service. Ananya manaso. Ananya means with one pointed. Anya means others, and ananya means without any distraction, by one pointed attention. Ananya manaso, by complete faith. What do? They actually do the devotional service unto me. What do? Gyatva, because they know. What do they know? Bhuta Adim Avyam. They know that I am the source of everything. I'm the Adi, I'm the original, and the Avyam, I'm the imperishable one. I'm eternal, right? So let us read the English translation. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Right? So here Krishna gives the definition of a Mahatma. Who is a Mahatma? Who is a great soul? Huh? Who bhajante ananya manso. The great souls, what do? They are fully engaged in the devotional service for Krishna. They are the great souls. Now the question can come that, if you are just doing that, what about the other things? How will we sustain ourselves, right? So when you say ananya manso, when you're doing, you can actually do your complete life the way you live, but you can just make Krishna as the center of everything. That is, there everything, whatever you do is for Krishna. For example, they sleep also for Krishna, because they sleep so that they can have a good sleep, so that morning they are fresh to do service to Krishna. They can wake up Krishna, they can actually do prayers to Krishna, they can decorate Krishna, they also cook for Krishna. So whatever food you cook, you give it as a prasad and then you eat it. So you're cooking for Krishna, right? You go to office, but you are earning for Krishna, right? So when you get the money, use a part of it for managing your family, everything you give to Krishna, take it from him for managing your family, and keep rest with Krishna so that you can take it whenever you need, right? When in the evening, when you're cooking again for Krishna, do your kirtan, so you can just live your life around Krishna. Yeah, you don't have to do any change in your thing, but whatever you are doing, your consciousness is always before Krishna. Your consciousness is always for Krishna. Not so, it is not for anything else or anyone else, but everything that you are doing is for Krishna. Yeah, even if suppose if you are young girls, so even if anything that you have, it's also always for Krishna, right? So that is the Ananya Bhakta. Anything that you do is always for Krishna, focus for Krishna, doing for Krishna, living around that is what is the Mahatma, that they are the great souls. That is how Krishna defines them. And they are not attracted by the external material world, but for them everything is by the divine energy of Krishna, that's how they live, because they know that Krishna is the cause of all causes. We go to the next slok, 14th slok. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dirvrita namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dirvrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So what do they do? Mataji, yourself. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dirvrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So Krishna says, what do the Mahatma do? Satatam kirtayanto mam. What do they do? Satatam is always. What are they doing always? Kirtayanto mam. They are glorifying Krishna. Kirtayanto mam is Kirtayanto means they are glorifying. What are they doing? Kirtayanto mam. They are always glorifying me. Yatantascha dirvata. And how do they glorify me? With dirvata, with determination. With determination. They are always glorifying him with determination. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya. And with full bhakti, with all bhakti, they do namasyantascha mam bhaktya. With all bhakti, they actually bow down to me. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Nitya Yukta is Satatam. Nitya Yukta means always. Nitya Yukta. Nitya is always. Yukta is connected. Always connected Upasate. And they are doing worshipping. Yeah. So now again the question comes. So this is a Mahatma, that is a Mahatma they do. So how do, so what is Satatam Kirtayantavam? How do you glorify? So that is what is explained in Bhagavatam. What is the shlok? It says, it's by Prahlad Maharaj. What is the 9 stages of bhakti, devotional service? It is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the 9 stages of devotional services, right? Shravanam. Shravanam means always hearing about Krishna. Shravanam means always hearing about Krishna. That is the first thing that you have to do. Because unless you hear, you will not get attracted. Anything that you get attracted to because you hear about it. Right? What was that Mumbai one? Coldplay. Because you heard, so others will get attracted, right? So you have to first hear about it, right? So what you hear about it, then you get attracted towards it. So anything that happens. So Shravanam Kirtan. So the first thing is hearing. The first stage is hearing. Kirtayanto mam. Then doing chanting, glorifying him, right? Then Vishnu Smaranam. And then remembering him. Pada Sevanam. Doing the prayer. Bowing down to the lotus feet of Krishna. Archanam. Offering prayers, different prayers that we do. That is offering prayers, decorating the Krishna, decorating him, and then Vandanam, then singing a lot of prayers, Dasyam, then being a servant to him, cooking for him, going for shopping for him, buying clothes for him, everything for him. And then not only for him, for his devotees, your family members, they all are your devotees and they are Krishna's family members. So doing everything for the Krishna's family members, right? That is also a service to them, right? And then Sakhyam as a friend, and Atmanivedam, finally surrendering, complete surrender, right? Then it says Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Etantascha Dridvata, by determination. With determination means for, like, for anything that we do, there's a qualification that you have to do, you have to qualify, you have to have something, so the qualification also to enter into the spiritual world is also apart from all these things. You have to do fastings on Ekadashi, fastings on the birthdays of the appearance day of Krishna, or the gurus that you do. So these are a part of purifying yourself, and when you purify yourself, you also become entitled for entering into the, that is, you are qualified to get your name written there. So all these are the qualification to get entry into the spiritual plane, right? Then so this is something which is there. Now when you think about any sports person, when he is a national player or is a world champion, imagine how much hard work he has to do, isn't it? He has to really struggle in his life to stop everything and only be one focused, and then do all those struggle to achieve there. But this devotional service is not like that. We have read in the second shlok of 9th chapter, Rajavidya, it is Susukham Kartum Avyam. It is very happy. When you do it, it is not a force, it's not a punishment, but it is very happily you can do it. You can sing, you can go to temples, you can sing for Krishna, you can dance for Krishna, you can eat prasadam for Krishna, you can be the association of devotees of Krishna, have lots of devotee friends. So imagine how beautiful it is. So it is not like, for achieving, it is not that you have to be like, it is a total renunciation. It is basically Yukta Vairagya, right? So that is there. Now, so then Namaste Ma Bhaktya. Let's read the English translation. Always chanting my glories.
Always chanting my glory.
Endeavoring with great determination.
Endeavoring with great determination.
Going down before me.
Going down before me.
These great souls.
These great souls.
Perpetually worship me.
Perpetually worship me.
With devotion.
With devotion.
Right? So now I'll tell you story about some great devotees. Right? So have you heard about the Guruvayu temple? I'm sure everyone knows about the Guruvayu temple in Kerala. So there was in 16th century, there was a great devotee called Punthanam. He was a great devotee of Krishna. And what he used to do, he used to recite Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And there is a near to Guru Vayur, there's a Shiva temple that actually opens only few days in a year. And whenever that temple used to open, he used to go and recite Srimad Bhagavatam to Shiva. And when he used to go and recite, all the devotees, everyone used to know speechlessly, just listen to him. He was so good in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. And because it used to open for a few days, he used to recite, keep his book there, and used to go. And whenever he used to come back, it is, the thing he was describing in that day to Shiva and everyone was about how Krishna was teasing Rukmani. That is the chapter he was describing. And next day when he came, he saw that the bookmark was again back to the same chapter. So when he saw the bookmark is again to the same chapter, he again sat there and he again narrated the entire story of how Krishna was teasing Rukmani. And everyone was listening, like, similarly, like, that since the temple is open for a few days, every day when he used to come, he used to say that, it is the bookmark again there. So still he used to go ahead and continue telling that story. And finally, the last day when the temple was supposed to close, he just told that, and he left from that temple. And by mistake, he left his book there. Now the temple will be closed for a year. So he remembered, oh, he used to go and get the book back. When he came back, then he heard someone is talking inside. So there was a hole. He started peeping from that hole. He saw that Shiva was actually narrating the story to to his Gana and Parvati, and everyone was listening. And after he finished the story about Krishna and Rukmani teasing that, then he asked Parvati, how was the story? So Parvati replied, not as good as Buntham explains. Yeah. Now this devotee, he used to travel to for almost he was staying a bit far from Guru Vayur. So many days he used to just go travel and visit Guru Vayur, and he used to write in Malayali. He was a poet. He used to write in Malayali, and he used to say his whatever poems he has written. He used to go and tell to Krishna. One day when he was coming to, he had to cross a forest, then there were some dacoits. They actually attacked him, and he said, no, don't take my Srimad Bhagavatam. He had Srimad Bhagavatam. No, don't take it. So they took away all his, ring and whatever he had. They took away everything from him. But then what happened? He saw suddenly there was a soldier who was crossing in a horse. He came, he actually fought with those dacoits, and he gave back his ring to him and Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was very, very happy with this one. He said, okay, I don't have anything more to give. He gave his ring to this soldier, and he left, and he slowly walked to the Guru Vayur temple. Now, next day morning, he was like, because it was night, so he could not go to the temple. He slept somewhere nearby, thought next day morning he will visit the temple. That day night, basically the Guru Vayur Krishna, he came in the dream of the Pandit. He said, see, tomorrow Punthanam is going to come here. And when he comes, you give this ring to him. This ring which is kept there, you go and give it to him. So Pandit saw this in dream. So when Punthanam, he came to the temple, what happened? The Panditji, he knew, because he was a frequent visitor. He came and gave that ring to Punthanam. So Punthanam was very surprised. He said, how come you got this ring? I gave that to soldier. So he said, no, I got the dream in my dream, and Krishna told me to give this to you. So Krishna takes care of his devotees. Similarly, there is a, I know whoever in South knows about Narayanyam, right? Narayanyam. That is written by Melapathur. That is written by Melapathur. Now, Melapathur was a great Sanskrit scholar in the same temple during the time of Punthanam. Now, he was very, very proud of his knowledge because he was a Sanskrit scholar. Now, Punthanam, he used to write in Malayali. So he said, and always Melpathu, he used to try to, he used to find fault with Punthanam. So one day what happened, Punthanam had written a poem for Krishna in Malayali. So he went to Melpathur and said that, can you please read this and correct me? You are such a great scholar. Why don't you read this and correct and tell me whether it's okay or not? So he said, oh, this is in Malayali. I am a Sanskrit scholar. I cannot bow down and learn, and I don't actually correct these Malayali scripts, So he requested, then he couldn't say anything. Then what happened? Melapathur, he had written Narayanam, which is a very, very famous Sanskrit poem on prayers again on Krishna. So he had written the 10 shlokas and he was wanted to go and offer to Guru Vayur. So he sat in front of Guru Vayur and started offering those 10 shlokas that he had written to Guru Vayur. And each time he was saying, then he found the small boy was standing there, and he kept on finding fault in each of his slok. Whatever he'll say, this is a mistake, this is the mistake. And then when almost 10th slok when he had reached, he realized that it is no more, no one else, but it is Krishna who is there. And he just he bowed down to him and says, please, excuse me. And then what happened? He had realized his mistake, that he had offended such a great devotee of Punthanam. He had offended him, and that's a punishment Krishna is giving him. As soon as he actually surrendered to him, the small child disappeared, and then he went back searching for Punthanam and said, please show me your poem, what you have written, please show me that poem so that I can. So he could understand. So Krishna is there always to protect his bhaktas. Yeah, it doesn't, to him it is you just give yourself and he takes care of you. You don't have to worry about yourself, right? Similarly, we all know about Dwarika, right? We all know about Dwarikadhish. There was a great devotee called Budana. Now he used to stay in Dakor. Have you heard about Dakor? Dakor is between Baroda and Ahmedabad. There's a place called Dakor. Yeah. And he used to stay in Dakor, and Dakor, say, he used to go to Dwarika every 6 months. And it is very far. He used to walk down till that place and stay there for some time and come. Now, because it was very far, so and he was, since a child, he used to go with his father, and he continued going there. So almost all the priests knew how great devotee Budana is, and how much he loves Krishna. So, oh, okay, you have come. And then they used to, so Budana was there. Now slowly Budana became old, and it became difficult for him to walk till Dwarika, but still he continued his promise, his determination of walking till Dwarika and seeing Krishna and being with Krishna and then coming back. He continued to do that. So when he was quite old, so Krishna told Budana, why do you come every time? So you're so old, why do you walk till here? Why don't you get your come by bullock cart? So he says, okay, okay, next time I'll come by my bullock cart. Yeah, now you're old. Next time when you come, I'll come with you. So Budana could not believe that, he thought that maybe I'm imagining all these talks. Yeah. So he could not believe this. So he said, fine, next time. So now he's already old. So he went down. Next time when he was coming, he remembered these words of Krishna. So what he did, he was an old man. He had an old bullock cart. He had an old bullock. But everything, next time when he's going, he put everything together, and he, with this old bullock cart, he kept on walking. He kept on going slowly, and he reached Dwarika. Now, when Budana came to the temple, all the priests started asking, Budana, how come you came with the bullock cart this time? He said, no, Krishna asked me. He told he'll come with me. That's why I've got the bullock cart. Everyone started laughing at him. And what are you saying? But then some of the priests knew that he's a great devotee. They also became scared. It should not happen that, Krishna actually goes, because they know that Krishna is Bhaktvatsala. It should not happen that Krishna actually goes with Budana. So they got scared. So that night, what they did, they actually, Budana, after all doing darshan, he in his bullock cart, he was just next to temple. He was lying there in his bullock cart. And the priests, what they did, they actually locked the entire this very nicely, so that Krishna cannot go anywhere. So they locked everything nicely. And then what happened? In the middle of the night, Budana was sleeping in the bullock cart, and then suddenly he saw Krishna there. He said, Krishna, what are you doing here? He said, I told you last time that you get your bullock cart, I'll come with you. He says, no, but then what will everyone tell me? That, no, I had told you. So I have come, then how do you come? So, locks and all doesn't matter to Krishna, right? So, when he was born, he had all the locks. So it doesn't matter to him. So Budana was like, okay, fine, you have come. What should I do? He said, take me back to Dakor. Take me to Dakor. He said, okay, you want to come to Dakor? Fine. So you sit. I will. He immediately put the bullock cart. He started taking the bullock cart to Dakor. He says, Budana, you are actually driving it very slow. So why don't you do one thing? You rest, you are an old person. Let me now take you to Dakur. He said, fine. So he left it to Krishna. And morning when he woke up, he said, Krishna, he heard Krishna saying, Krishna, he says, see, the Budana, get up. The Dakur has come. He says, how can overnight I can reach Dakur? It takes me days and days and days to reach Dakur. He says, okay, don't bother. But now we are outside Dakur. You sit on, you take now the charge. Let me sit. So finally he said, okay. Now he reached Dakur. Now what should I do with you? So he's like, what will I do with you? So he says, do one thing. There's a pond there. That pond is called Gomti Pond. You hide me here. He said, okay, fine. So he took and he hid Krishna inside the pond. He hid Krishna inside the pond. Now there, what happened in Dwarika? Morning when the priest opened, there is no Krishna. They were like, oh God, what happened? Where is Krishna gone? They all knew Budana has stolen Krishna. It could be no one else. Budana had told, so now let us go and go to Dakur and get our Krishna back. So they all, with the soldiers, they all rushed to Dakur. And they said, Budana, where is Krishna? I don't know. No, you have hidden Krishna somewhere. Tell me where is Krishna. I said, I don't know where is Krishna. I don't know. So what they started, like, they started searching for Krishna, and they saw the pond, and then, with the what do you call it? They started poking inside the pond to see. They saw that the water became red, and then they took out Krishna from there. And before that, they saw the Krishna, and then one of the soldier, in this anger, he actually hit Budana, and Budana died. Then they said, Krishna, now you are here. Come, we'll take you back. He said, I'll not go. He refused to go. So he said, then what? So Krishna stayed in Dakur. Even today, when you go, the actual idol of Dwarika is actually in Dakur. And then when you go to Dakur, so all the priests started crying. What will happen? What will happen to Dwarika? Because you that is the place where you need to be there. He says, okay, I understand from your perspective. Do one thing. You have to wait for 6 months. And after 6 months, at this place, you go and dig this place. You will find an identical idol. You can take that idol and put in the temple. That's fine. But I will not leave this place. So the actual idol of Dwarika is actually in Dakur, and that's called Ranchorai. Yeah, so you should not miss. You should there. It's a Ranchorai. It's called Ranchorai. It's there. And then what happened after now the Krishna had asked them to wait for 6 months, and 6 months was a long time for the priests. So what they did, they kept on, they could not wait for 6 months. Much before 6 months, they actually went to that place and they dug it. And they found the idol there, but that idol was actually shorter than the one in Ranchorai, because they did it early. And then they took that idol and they have put in Dwarika temple. Yeah, so if you want to see the real idol of Dwarika temple, you have to go to Dakur. So the story is to say that when you have determination, and when you are totally, you are Satatam Yukta, Krishna takes care of you. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, don't have to worry about it. He takes care of you. Yeah, he's the one. So this is how these are great souls. These are Mahatma. So the 13th and 14th shlok talked about Mahatma. The first two talked about those who don't believe in Krishna. Now the next shlok from 15th onwards, 15 talks about those who are okay, let's read the shlok first. Jnana yagyena chapyanye यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो माम् उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो माम् उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. Now here Krishna talks about other devotees who does jnana yajna. those who cultivate knowledge. Yajna, as we have seen in the 4th chapter, is not only the fire sacrifice, but yajna can be of different types. Even the yajna, when you try to take knowledge, that could also be a yajna. So he says, Jnana yajna chapinye, by others who try to know me through jnana. Through yajanto ma upasate, those who do my upasana through by cultivation of knowledge, they can be divided into 3 types. They can be divided into 3 types. Ekatvena, Prithatvena, Bahuda, Vishwatomukha. These are the 3 types on which it can be divided. Ekatvena is oneness with God. Ekatvena is oneness with God. Prithatvena, Bahuda means worshipping multiple idols, thinking them to be Supreme Lord. And Vishwatomukha is like basically worshipping the universal form. So these are the 3 types. So those who are in the knowledge, there are those who are trying to gain knowledge. So those are the other people who worship, but those people can be of these 3 types. So let us read the English translation. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as a one without a second, as diverse in many, and in the universal form. Right? So 3 types of jnanis worship Krishna by cultivating knowledge. So what happens is, so there are different types of worshippers. Now, spiritual knowledge journey, it's a journey. It's a journey. We can be at 0. We can start our knowledge, but we will not know that, you are not a Mahatma. Neither you are. So you are in a journey. You're trying to find out what is what. You're trying to learn from different scriptures, from different way, what is right, what is not right, how to do it. So what happens in this journey, when during the, when you're trying to cultivate knowledge, you can fall into one of these categories. Yeah, one of these categories is Ekatvena. Ekatvena means you can think that I am God. Soham, I am God. I am He. Means me and God are not different. I am God. So you can be in that I am God. Now you cannot be a God. Now, although you look at ocean and a drop of ocean, both are same in qualities, but they are not same. A drop of ocean cannot be a ocean, right? Similarly, when you look at a gold or a gold particle, the particle of gold will have all the qualities of gold, but it is not gold. Similarly, when our soul is a part of Krishna. It is a part, it is not Krishna, right? So we are a part of Krishna, but we are not Krishna, right? So but what happens sometimes in the knowledge, you come across that I am He, I am the Lord, and they start praying themselves, like, I'm Lord. Yeah. So that is the good part, is that they at least understand that, there is a soul, and they have got that knowledge, the difference between I'm not this body, I am soul, that much knowledge that they have, and then they're trying to understand soul. But soul and Krishna, although it's a part, as Krishna says in 15th chapter, he'll say that Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, all the jivas, all the living entities, my ansha. They are my ansha, but they are not He. It's not Krishna. It is just like an ocean and a drop of ocean. They have the characteristics same, but they're not same. So they start thinking of Ekatvena, that knowledge they may get. Then Prithatvena Bahuda. It could also happen that people may think that, okay, the sun is a supreme. Many people worship sun as a supreme Lord. Many people worship someone else as the supreme Lord, right? Because it's a journey, and that the right knowledge, we have not read the right scriptures to get the right knowledge, right? It's a journey, right? Then Vishuddhamukha, many people, that is like, you talk about the universal form, they actually get attracted that, okay, God is great, and great means for them it is like, oh, mountains, the nature itself is God. The nature itself is God, and they believe, they start praying God, it's nature itself as God. So these are the 3 varieties of people that they could be in during the journey of spiritual nature. Now, in the 7th chapter, 16th shlok, what we have read Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritan arjuna arto jigyasur arthati gyani cha bhadarshava. So Krishna has said, he has explained that there are 4 types of people who come to me. There are 4 types of people who come to me. Who are those people? Artho, those who are those are distressed. Jigyasu, who are inquisitive. They are in their journey. They want to know what. Arthati, who wants wealth. And Gyani, who are in search of knowledge. Yeah. So those are the 4 people who come to me. So Krishna says, Mahatma, they are those who are worshipping me with Ananya Bhakti, they are highest. They are Ananya, they have one point attention towards me. That is highest. Below that are the 4 types of varieties who come to me. Below then are the 3 tasks he explained that they all are in the journey who's trying to understand me. So they are also worshippers of Krishna. Now in the next shlok, which is 16 shlok, we'll go to the 16 shlok now. Aham Kritur Aham Yagya Swadhaham Aham Aushadham Mantro Aham Ahamevajya Aham Agnir Aham Hutam Aham Kritur Aham Yagya Swadaham Aham Aushadham Mantro Aham Evajya Aham Agnir Aham Hutam. Prabhu.
Aham Kratur Aham Yajnaha.
Aham Kritur Aham Yagya
Swadhaha Aham Aushadham.
Swadaham Aham Aushadham
Mantro Aham
Mantro Aham
Aham Vevajya.
Vevajyam
Aham Agniraham Hutam.
Aham Agdir Aham Utam. So now Krishna says he's now talking about next 3 shloks 16 to 19. He'll talk about the universal form and he'll try to explain more about that. Yeah. So he says when you're doing a yajna, yes, what we do, we actually we recite Vedic mantras, right? We do Vedic rituals. So Kritur means the rituals that we do during yajna. So that is me. I am the Vedic ritual. Aham yajna. The yajna means that the kund that you have, everything what you're doing, that's me. Swadhaham aham aushadham. I am the aushad. I am the healing herb, the herb, the aushadhi. What is there? That is me. And mantroham, the mantra that you do, the charan, that is also me. Aham evajya, the ghee that you are pouring is evajya is ghee. That is I am. The agni, the fire in the yajna is also me. And utam, aham utam, whatever oblation that you are offering inside is also me. So when you are doing yajna, whatever when you talk about the rituals, the Vedic rituals, we actually perform yajna. But when we do pragya, whatever we are doing in yajna is actually Krishna. Whether it's a fire, whether it is oblations, whether it is mantra, finally it is all going to Krishna. That's what he is explaining here. So, but it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant, I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Right? So he's trying to help that to understand when whatever yajna we are doing, whatever you're doing finally is going to Krishna. Then we go to the next shlok, 17. Pitamahasya jagato Mata dhata pitamaha Vedayam pavitram omkara Dik samaya jurevacha Pitaham asya jagato Mata dhata pitamaha Vedayam pavitram omkara Rik samaya jurevacha. Pitamahamasya jagato Mata dhata pitamaha Vedyam pavitram omkara Yaksamaya jurevacha. So he says, so we'll read in again the, he is the seed giving father. That is the 14th chapter. We'll read that Krishna will say that I am the seed giving father. Everything that happens, living entity that you have, for that I am the father. So here he says, Pitaham asya jagato. So for this jagat, for this entire material world, I am the pita, because he is the seed giving father, because of which The life comes in the living entity. Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha. I am also the mother, the Dhata, the doer of everything, and Pitamaha, even the grain gansa is everything is me. Vedayam Pavitram Omkara. We say Omkar is the first word. So when the Ved, what you read, the first Pranava, which is Omkar, is also me. And the Vedas, Rik, Sam, Yajurved, all Veda are also me. Now in the 15th chapter, there is a shlok which says, Vedaisha Sarve Aham Veda Vidyo. So Krishna will say in the 15th chapter, the 15th shlok of 15th chapter says that the summary of reading Ved is to know me. Don't get lost in the mantras. Don't get lost in the mantras. But if you have really understood Ved, at the end, it is to know me. That is what is the 15th stroke of the 15th chapter, which says, Vedaisha sarveir aham eva vedyo. Vedyo means to know. So when you read Ved, what is the final knowledge that you have to get is that it is Krishna is the supreme. And that is why he says that he is not only the Omkar, he is also the Rik, Sam and Yajurved. Everything is he. Right? So let's read the English translation. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sam, and the Yajur Vedas. Yeah. So with this, we'll end today's class. Hare Krishna. Let us chant the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.